clairvoyance of being press is limited, and so we rely on press releases. Everything's all a bit rushed today, more because Yooka-Laylee has come out. Well, the embargo for Yooka-Laylee has come out. The game comes out on April 11th, if I remember correctly. I think so. But the review embargo goes up today, and our review has gone up about an hour ago, about 4 o'clock. The reviews seem to be going on the same lines as mine. I was always concerned about that. I always thought I was going to end up being a little too harsh, or something along those lines of me going, it just feels old. It just feels old and is designed old, and because of that, it's a little bit shit. But it still is. It's functional. Yeah, go and read the review. Share the review, all those stuff. It's always good actually reading the review. If more people read the review and share it around, it means more people read our stuff, and we can do more. So go read it. And moving on to the actual news. There's most of it is a selection of smaller stories. Like one of the email stories I want to talk about is a much larger story, but it's kind of in depth. The first the email story to talk about is Rocket League, and they are doing a update today, the 4th, and it is for Fate of the Furious. Basically, they've signed a deal with Universal and a selection of cars related to the Fate of the Furious, the Fast and Furious 8? It's either 8 or 7. I don't know. There's fucking loads of these movies now. Yeah, basically, they're doing cars, the Fast and Furious ones. As they say here, the cars are going to be involved. Our players will be able to get behind the wheel of Toretto's ride the Dodge Ice Charger as a premium battle car sold for $1.99 or regional equivalent, so £2.50, £2-ish. The Fate of the Furious vehicle comes with exclusive wheels, 6 unique decals, clean cut, Frenzy Snatch plans, Reguki, Rally, and CCXL. So if you're interested in getting a Fast and Furious car, then $1.99 or regional equivalent. Now, this is the complicated one I was talking about that's involving esports. Basically, what's happened is the ESL, the Esports League, has released a clarification of its rules, or an update of its rules. It's basically, the thing that it said is that the VAC bans, the Valve bans that happen when you get caught cheating by the automated system that Valve has in CSGO, if you have been banned, if that ban was more than 2 years ago, you are allowed to compete in professional tournaments. And because of that, there has been a big rise in criticisms about it, and so the Esports Integrity Coalition has released a public statement on these because the ESL follows their guidelines, and the coalition wanted to release a clarification of its rules. It's a very, very long statement, and it gets in great detail around the specifics and what kinds of cheating. It makes very specific clarifications between different types of cheating. For example, there's a clarification between fixing to win and fixing to lose matches, as well as the more general classification of match fixing. That's what I mean. It gets very, very in-depth, and that's part of the reason why it's quite long. I want to link it in the description for everyone to read, but to sum it up, they basically said that there has to be a distinction between punishments. Punishments have to be proportional to the actual crime committed. It's kind of like, as they say here, a 17-year-old semi-pro who deliberately lost an online match to win a few $100s worth of skins is not in the same bracket as a top professional who throws a match at a major LAN for $10,000. That is something that I agree with. There has to be a proportional punishment to the crime committed. Cheating to win $10 and cheating to win $10,000 is still cheating, but cheating to win $10 is a lot less severe than cheating to win 10,000. It's quite interesting that things like this actually come up, where there actually is this very specific regulation, because this is the big difference between things like esports and sort of other professional sports like football or NFL or whatever. There are very, very specific rules that have been built up over a very long period of time to guard against specific offences, and things like the ESIC are really trying to nail down the specifics for punishments for specific crimes, and so this is basically the first step to having a very stringent and very specific rulebook. This is something that's always going to be developing. Esports has been developing over several years, so this is probably not going to be the last time this is going to come up, but that is a good thing. And with that, we move on to Games Press, with only 2 stories this time. The first story has a long headline, but is a very, very simple story. Gold Circle Films and GT2 Entertainment partner to adapt Compulsion Games' We Happy Few as a feature film. It's basically what it says in the film. A film company has come forward to adapt We Happy Few. But there is a big but to all of this. And that big but is nothing. There is nothing. There isn't even a script by this point. It's basically someone had just gone, we'll make a film for it. And that's it. There is absolutely nothing to show. There is no guarantee that this film will even be made or even written. So this is the thing that happens. This is something that has to be highlighted with sort of news stories like this, is when a film company comes forward and says, we're making a film of this, it always depends on how far their production is. Because this is the same company that is doing the Sleeping Dogs movie. And they are both in various stages of development, to the point of there is entirely a possibility that neither of these films will ever be made, because they are so far back. It's literally they have just bought the rights. So don't get too excited about it. For me, I think it's great. I absolutely adore We Happy Few. But still, this is no guarantee that the film is even going to be made. And then the last story is about EGX Res, or the finishing of EGX Res, the sort of, well, the numbers for EGX Res. As I say here, EGX Res launched the London Games Festival in style, welcoming thousands of gamers and the cream of the UK industry to London's historic tobacco dock. Attendance figures smashed previous records for the 3-day event and confirmed EGX Res's status as London's biggest gaming show. I think the very specific part of that is London's biggest gaming show, because EGX, the proper one, is in Birmingham, and that is bigger. Probably by far. As for a quote, they have Robert Lohman, the CEO of the Gamer Network, the people who make EGX Res, saying, although this was the biggest and best Res to date in terms of both attendance and exhibitors, we have been really pleased to see that the atmosphere of the show has remained equally inclusive and fun. The feedback we've had from gamers, exhibitors and speakers has been overwhelmingly positive, and we would like to thank all of our partners, sponsors and exhibitors for helping us create another outstanding experience for UK gamers. EGX Res has always been a very interesting event. It's very UK-centric event compared to other events like EGX proper, but it's always a very, well, it's always been a very interesting place to go to get a hands-on with games and to talk to developers and things. It is very much a good way to start the UK convention year more than anything else. And that's it for the news. So we're going to move on to the UK all formats charts, again graciously supplied by UKIE Limited. The top 5 has barely changed. Mass Effect still number 1, Tom Clancy still number 2, LEGO Worlds still number 3, impressively still lovely at LEGO Worlds. But Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix, god, that is the longest title. I think even they said it was a very long title, has squeaked into number 4. It has risen quite a fair amount. It's sort of shot in, which is great, because I like Kingdom Hearts. They're doing a lot of these HD remakes for Kingdom Hearts 3 when that eventually comes out. Basically waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3. And here are the games that are going to be released this week. It's actually a fairly short list. We have Fallen Princess for Android and iOS, Toyorico for Android and iOS, Blackwood Crossing for PS4, Karimia Extended Cut for PC, Miko Mole for Wii U, Mousebot Escape from Cat Lab for Android and iOS, Serious Sam VR The First Encounter for PC, and Serious Sam VR The Second Encounter also for PC, Blackwood Crossing for PC and Xbox One, Enter the Gungeon for Xbox One, Talent Not Included for Xbox One, Rive for Mac Online, White Noise for PC, and Slime Sand for PC. And that's it for today. If you found this episode informative, then please consider subscribing and sharing the video around if you enjoyed it, and I will see you on Friday for the next Press Rush.